Welcome back to the Lake District. We've come up this little valley here and we're kind of heading in that direction. We're probably going to take a left-hand turn up there. Lassie, come back up here. Come up here a minute. And basically just see if we can find somewhere to camp up there. The time is 4:40, so it's, you know, it's not even 5 o'clock yet, and of course it's June. Lassie, wait. It's June, so it's not even dark until what, you know, 9-10 o'clock or something. So we've certainly got plenty of time. So basically I'm going to grab some water here, just a little top up, just to make sure I've got some. Lassie is completely drenched, so I'm just going to keep her out of the water just for a minute. Stay here, Lassie. Okay, well, we've started the first real ascent. Thankfully it's been quite gentle until now, and I don't think this is too much either, because we're gonna, I think from looking at the map, we're going to get up here and we're going to start finding somewhere to camp, hopefully somewhere within the next, you know, kilometre. And I must admit, looking around here so far, there's not that many places, although actually it's probably a bit wet over there, but maybe over there you could actually pitch up. But realistically, you know, I think it's better to you know, get a little distance away from humanity, you know, as much as possible. There is a little bridge down there. It's not exactly clear. There is supposed to be a path on the other side, but I think it's not exactly clear, and I think you kind of be making your own way up there, which I must admit was my original plan. But then I thought I'd go this way primarily because I'm probably not going to do an absolute ton of walking, but if I'd have gone that way, it kind of would have cut a little bit of a corner off. And as I say, I'm not planning on doing a huge amount anyway, but if I cut a corner off there, and if I'm not doing a huge amount of walking, I don't want to be doing too much that's, you know, complicated, as it were. So we're going to keep it relatively simple. I'm going to keep an eye on the map and where we are. I'm trying now, of course we don't have view ranger. I'm trying outdoor active, which I did activate with my view ranger mapping, and I use it until they basically, you know, cancel it, and then we'll kind of go from there. But I'm also using the OS mapping, which is probably the one that I will use mostly. But one good thing with Outdoor Active, it has Harvey mapping on it too, and Harvey maps can be useful as well from time to time. We're going to get walking and see what we see. There's two people behind us. They were swimming or in the water, so that's why I didn't really bother filming down at that little bridge down there. but they're walking this way, and then there's two other people in the distance. So let's hope we don't have a camperama tonight, because I definitely don't want other people close particularly. But we'll keep going. We'll see what we see. A little bit of a view for you. So you can see two people right down there, and then two people on the path in the distance. Well, time was ticked on, and it is now 7:10. It took a little bit of hunting to find camp. I have to say it wasn't the easiest, but that's why I like that's why if I'm doing something, you know, completely new and different, I like to have several hours ahead of me, even if it's late afternoon, knowing it won't get dark until, you know, 9 or 10 o'clock or something like that. So it could have been that we would have had to have walked further. I was not planning on walking. That's the valley down in there. So I came up from this valley up here, which I believe is the River Esk. So I came up here, and there are two tents pitched right on the corner of the River Esk, and that's two people that were paddling in the water or whatever, and they were just behind me. Now there is another spot or two down there, but I have to say I deliberately avoided you know, down there, because I knew that people would be coming and going, so I didn't really want to be, you know, too close, you know, to a thoroughfare, as it were. The River Esk is almost quite dry around there. You would certainly be able to collect water down there, but it's certainly not really flowing. I really probably should have filmed down there, but I kind of wanted to get going a bit. They were behind, and I had this sort of urge. I wanted to keep going. That's why I'm probably pretty rubbish at YouTube. That's why everyone else gets the views, because they stop and film themselves walking and film more scenery and stuff like that, whereas my legs sort of just keep going, and I haven't got that thing of, oh, I'm gonna stop. We then followed the path. Well, there isn't a path, but we kind of followed the valley, as it were, you know, kind of in this direction, because this is the way that I wanted to go tomorrow anyway. So I thought, well, if I can't find anywhere down there, then I'll just keep walking this way, and if I find nothing, because there was nothing on the way up, the river is really in a gorge, so there is nothing, you know, all the way until you get to the very top over there. So I kind of walked all the way kind of through here, and there's no water here either. I probably should have taken water from down the bottom before coming up this way, but I was always of the mind that if I couldn't find somewhere, I knew there was a spot down there, and it's a spot that they haven't used, but it would still have been close-ish to where they are, certainly the other side of the river and up a bit. It certainly would have been outside of voice range, but still down in that flat area, and I really, you know, I didn't really want to be down there. So I kind of came up here, and there's no flowing water at all So basically I sort of came up here, and I think I ended up going the other side of this hill here. So this little bumpy bit here, I went round there. It's all fairly easy walking around here. I just went around there, and I was looking down there. There's quite a bit of flat area down there, but it's all marshy, boggy. It's not really suitable for pitching on. I couldn't really see anywhere down there. You'd look in this area down here, but again, I don't really think it's suitable for pitching. I'm quite surprised. I was half expecting it to be relatively easy to find something, but it was a little bit of a challenge. I think if there's two of you and you find a good flat area, then I think definitely, you know, nab it, even if you do have to put up with people, you know, not a million miles away from you, because this spot here, you know, it basically is, you know, a one-stop place. You could get a tent there as well. I mean, you know, just about. But so I ended up coming around here, and then I just looked down there, and I thought down there maybe, but even that wasn't really suitable. So I came up around here, and then I just saw this little spot there, and I thought, wow, that's it. It's not perfect, it's not great, but you know, it'll do. There's a lot of this grassy stuff around. They probably could do with you know, a lawnmower. Could do with a lawnmower and a one of those steamrollers or something, just to flatten it out a bit. So anyways, I found that spot there, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So we kind of, as I say, we came around here. I looked at the water there, and I have to say I didn't really fancy the water from there. If I'd have had to have taken it, then I would have taken it from there, and then it was 50-50 whether I would have drunk it directly from there. For those that are in the know with me and my water, I might have done, but you know, I don't know. It's kind of like a 50-50 call, that one. I certainly would have been happy boiling it, and then waiting to get to a river or something. There's not really anything in it, and I don't think anything's died in it, and I doubt anything's been peeing in it continuously. And yes, it's standing water, but you've got a lot of green stuff growing there, so it's probably would have been okay. And let's face it, it's going to have water flowing in and out of it regularly, because if it what am I trying to say? If it was empty, then all the water would have flowed out, so there wouldn't be anything there. And given that there is water there, it's clearly rained here a lot, so water's probably come down this hill down here and replenished it from there. So I doubt that exact water has been standing there for, you know, for hundreds of years or anything like that. That's more my point. It's probably not standing water, you know. It probably has been replenished with the rain that they get here, and I'm sure they get plenty of rain, that it's probably, you know, probably fine. But anyway, I walked down a little way. I couldn't find a waterway or anything. You got a very boggy area, you know, just down there. But if you come up just around about, it's difficult to see, so I might see it on my screen at home bigger, but around about there you can just see like a light patch. It kind of goes that way and then that way and then that way into that boggy area down there. Well, and there's a little bit of water there, but I went a little bit further down and it wasn't really flowing, but I nabbed my water down there, because again, whilst it's not flowing, it was still water. So I'm not really worried about whether it's moving or still or anything. You know, there's so much water will have flowed around here, and there is nothing around here. Although I will say there was a dead sheep over there somewhere, but he'd been dead for quite a while. So again, I think the water there would be fine. We'll kind of see whether I live. I don't have to drink that water anyway. I can boil it for drinks and things like that. We'll kind of see. I'm not exactly sure tomorrow where I'm going. Probably gonna go, my guess is around that way, and then head over that way. Not really planning on going very far tomorrow, because that's hard not up there, and I'm kind of thinking to go up there Friday, because today's Wednesday, so I'm kind of thinking to go up there Friday, but the weather's not so great Friday from when I checked a couple of days ago, so it's probably changed. And of course it's not so easy to get the weather up here, because there's no signal. But it's certainly very pretty up here, and there's absolutely nothing up here. You know, we've certainly got this spot to ourselves, and I don't think anyone would be coming up here. You know, even if they do, they'll be walking down there and that way. I mean, just no one's going to be coming over here. But anyway, we've got the Trailstar pitch. So I've not emptied it inside yet or put anything out, so I need to get a bit of a whittle on there. And I've been here a little while, an hour or so, but I haven't really done very much. But I've pitched it quite high. I didn't bring the inner, because again, I wasn't quite sure of the terrain, or you know, how it would be. So I brought one of my super light bivvies with me, and you can see I've got a high pitch on it. I will say, with the higher pitch on this model, you maybe don't quite get a completely, you know, drum tight pitch, for those that are, you know, worrying about how tight you can pitch it. But you know, if you're going to be pitching this high, realistically it really doesn't matter if it's not really tight, because let's face it, it's not exactly going to be windy, is it? And if, well, the weather's not supposed to be windy, and if it was going to be windy, then I would just pitch lower, and then when you're a little lower, then it does pitch a little bit tighter. But that's, you know, that's a fairly high pitch there. And you see, with the higher pitch, I've taken longer lines on it to give it more angle. When you're very low, you can probably shorten your lines, but if you're very high, then I definitely, this is why I like my 3-foot lines, you see, because I've used all of that line there. You know, I've used most of the lines. All right, well, like I said, given that it's 7:20 and the sun hasn't quite gone down behind that mountain over there yet, but it's gonna dip down soon, so I think it's worth getting things sorted out inside and then, you know, settle down. Good morning, everyone. It's 11 o'clock. Amazingly, we've been awake a couple of hours. I woke up around about 9 and I didn't go back to sleep again. Made some tea, I've had breakfast, and I've been watching the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I haven't seen that film in like years. I remember it, obviously, but I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. Well, certainly 5 odd years anyway, 4 or 5 years. I had a very strange dream last night. It was strange, as me thinking I wouldn't see a soul up here, and then there's one person walking over there. Although this is a link between the two valleys. It's just a kind of a good job that I'm hopefully up here and off the path, and he'll kind of like take a beeline past the swampy bit down there, and as long as he takes a beeline past that swampy bit, which he should do, and then as long as he does that, then he ain't going to come up here, because there's no reason to come up here, because you can't come up here and go down the other side, because it's quite steep down there. But it's pretty remote up here, really. So he's the first person that I've seen, you know, walking close. The wind has done a 180 on us. Yesterday it was blowing this way. Now it's blowing right in our face. So in other words, it's coming in the door of the Trailstar. But thankfully, that's actually quite pleasant now, because you kind of need, I'm not quite sure what the sharp stuff is under my toes. It's not, I don't know if it's that like dry moss or what, but anyway, ow, it's not the nicest of stuff to walk on. You think moss would be kind of like a pleasant, a pleasant thing to stand on, but it's, but it's not. There he is down there, going up over there. I saw two other people walking up there just earlier that Lassie decided to bark at, and they were like way in the distance. So how the hell she saw them, I don't know. I'm quite happy walking barefoot on grass and such like, but I am, because there's nothing here that's going to sting or cut or anything, but I am always cautious of a standing on a bee or something. Or is it more standing on a bee or anyway, so we come back to this dream. So yeah, you kind of wonder whether he's been here before, because he's kind of walking. There is obviously a path of some description going up there, but yeah, I had this really strange dream, and like, we're in the middle of nowhere here, as you can obviously tell, and in my dream I was dreaming that I was in the middle of nowhere, and yet for some bizarre reason, this hill, literally this hill right here, I had some mothers and prams and children walking down here. I don't know what happened. I don't think they stopped. I was trying to think, did they stop for a picnic or something? I don't remember that. But I definitely had this weird dream where mothers and with prams and things were walking down the side of this hill, which was the most bizarre dream ever. Those people who were in their 2 tents down by the water, they were gone at 9 o'clock. Like I said, I woke up at 9 and I did whip out for a a quick pee stop, as it were, and they were long gone. Well, they were gone anyway. They weren't long gone, but they were certainly gone. Very nice and peaceful out here. There's some There sure is some crags around here. It's not in the least bit, you know, just like regular valleys and things like that. There's a right old mumble jumble of rocks and mountains that have been eroded away over the years. I'm gonna carry on with my tea, and then about 12:01 to start slowly packing up. But we're not walking very far. Basically the plan, I think, is to get into the next valley. So it might only be like one kilometre or something, 1 or 2 kilometres by the time we find somewhere to camp. It's basically just to find somewhere to camp and not too far away. So I'm kind of just going to stay in this general area, and then kind of what I'm thinking tomorrow night is to maybe load up with water and then head up, maybe up there tomorrow, and just see if I can find somewhere to camp, you know, in that vicinity, you know, tomorrow. That's kind of the plan. And then Saturday, head from Hard Knot down to the car, if it's possible. It's quite steep, but I think it's, I hope it's doable. If it's not, then we're a bit stuck. But I just have a feeling that you should be able to go around. I'll have another look at the map. It kind of depends also. If the weather turns in, then I might stay down in the valley and then just take the easy bridleway path the other side of the valley. The only problem with that is you've then got about a 3 kilometre road walk, you know, back to the car park. Good afternoon. It's 1:20. We are packed, and apart from, you know, collapsing the shelter, ready to rock and roll, as they say. Now, I've looked at the map, and in a nutshell, we just go around here and down into the valley, and it's not very far. It's like less than a kilometre, I think. The only thing is, and what I don't know until we get there, is whether we can cross the river when we get down there, because there's some little streams and becks that go up the other side, and that's really where I'm thinking of camping, so that tomorrow we can have a crack of getting up some way up Hard Knot Hill over there. But I'm going to keep an eye on the weather as well, because the barometer has, or the pressure has dropped since last night. Go on then. Go on then. Go on then. Silly dog. Go on then. Go on then, Lassie. Okay. Why are you asking permission to go in that great big pool of water? Go on then. Anyway, we need to get cracking just a little bit, because it's very hot and I've drunk most of the water, so we actually need to get going, you know, to make sure that we get to more water. I've got about 300 millilitres of water left. So the next thing to do is to say, obviously, is to collapse this, pack it away, and then get walking, and we'll catch you, you know, a little bit later. I'll just give you one more just quick whirl around this scenery. Please return for the next part.